Hopefully I'll be done in 30 minutes. I notice are you going to recharge the credits? Okay.
Hello, everybody. If you're just joining us, we're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. If all our guests can mute themselves and get ready for our show, that would be great. All right, all our guests, go ahead and mute yourself and get ready for the show. Very exciting. Hello, everybody. If you're just joining us, we're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. If all our guests can mute themselves and get ready for our show, that would be great. All right, all our guests, go ahead and mute yourself and get ready for the show. Very exciting. Hello, everybody. If you're just joining us, we're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody. We'll be getting started in just a minute. Oh, my first Hangout. I'm so glad you're here with us, and we want to get yourself comfortable. You're going to want to take notes. Make sure you have some water. I know I have mine, and we'll be getting started in just a minute. All right. Welcome, everybody, to our first Google Plus Hangout. I'm Lisa Cherney, and the doctor is in. And if my team can tell me, can you see me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? If you could tell me in the chat, that would be great. And so you know, we are on the lisacherney.com/hangout page, and there is a Facebook chat that's going on just down there. So if you wanted to say hello and where you're from and that you're here, we would love to see you and interact with you. And awesome, looks like, yes, they can see me and hear me. That's awesome. I'm so excited to be here. So the doctor is in, yay! And we have a feeling that this will not be the last Google Hangout that we have. And so let's see, what am I supposed to be saying now? I'm supposed to be saying the Juicy Marketing Doctor is in, and if you feel like you might have multiple ideal client personality disorder, then you are in the right place. And if you're not quite sure what it means, but you suspect that you might have it, then you are in the right place. So please know that the first step to recovery is the diagnosis, right? Anything that we want to move past, the first step is always to admit that there's a problem. So the fact that you're here right now and you're taking this action is really great. So please make sure that you stick around. We have some pretty amazing guests that are here actually. I think you could see them along there on the bottom, right? And we have some experts, industry experts, that are going to talk about the value of marketing clarity and the importance of diagnosing and why people have trouble. And we have like top copywriter with us that's going to talk about that, and we have some of our clients that have struggled themselves, and I think that you might find yourself in them and relate to them. So you're going to want to stay on till the very end. And for now, there's a little button there that says, I'm ready for a cure. Don't worry about that for the moment. I'm going to let you know how you could take advantage of that and what that's all about in just a minute here. But for now, just be present. Turn off all your distractions and really give yourself this gift of being here for this hangout. And I know that I am. And there's a lot going on in my house. My husband's home today. He's actually in the office upstairs. You can probably hear me right now. And so, I'm just really trying to be present with you. So I think give yourself that gift as well. So who am I? Maybe you got here not through knowing me already. So I'm Lisa Cherney. I'm the Juicy Marketing Expert, and I have been around in business for 14 years. And when I first got started, I thought I had the whole marketing thing nailed. I had 10 years prior experience in corporate marketing and advertising. I had worked for companies like AT&T and Lipton and Nissan and all these big brands. So I thought, well, hey, I'm starting my own business. No worries. I got this whole marketing thing handled. And within the first year of my business, I was miserable. And the clients I was attracting they seemed on the surface to be a fit, but then when I started working them, they just were kinds of pains in the butts, you know what I mean? And it just wasn't fulfilling. And I thought, wait a minute, this idea of freedom and the picture I had of what it was going to be like to be on my own and be my own boss, I wasn't experiencing that. And so I actually had to give myself a marketing lobotomy, like serious lobotomy. It was bloody. I always say I wish that there was one of those Men in Black, flashy thingies, and they go zzz, and the people would forget that they saw the aliens. Well, I wish I had that back then, but this was 14 years ago, so they didn't have that. And I really had to give myself the gift of just forgetting what I knew and figuring out why the heck it wasn't working for me selling and marketing myself. And really, that was the key, everybody, was me realizing that selling myself, marketing myself, a part of myself, was a whole different ballgame. And everything that I had learned in those big business, meetings and for those big companies wasn't working, because they would just, test what was, they would just, kind of put stuff out there and see what stuck, And when you're in your own business and you're solopreneur, pretty much, even though I have a big team that works with me, and lots of coaches and people on our team, I still feel like I'm a solopreneur and that I can't afford to be working with clients that I don't resonate with. And I found that it was really sucking my energy, and it was having me really question whether I should really even have a business and whether I was really cut out for it. And then I really came to the realization that it was a marketing issue, that I wasn't attracting the clients that I really wanted to attract, and if I could figure out how to do that, everything would change. So early on, I realized that target a niche really wasn't the ticket. It wasn't specific enough, and I thought, okay, well, that's all I know, so what else is there? And one day I figured out the gap between the clients I loved, which was about 20% of my clients, and the ones that I didn't, the 80%, there was this gap, and there were characteristics like what they valued and whether they had a sense of humor and what their urgent need was and how they treated me and all this stuff. And so I figured out and I decided to call that an ideal client. And so oftentimes now we work with people that are mission-driven entrepreneurs, right? Marketing and selling themselves in some way, something that's a part of them, even if it's a product, it's something that's very near and dear to them, and they find themselves wanting to help everybody or wanting to help all these different groups, and then they have multiple ideal client personality disorder. So today's today's hangout, I have to change my vocabulary. Today's hangout is about diagnosing and in some cases even curing multiple ideal client personality disorder, and really talking about as well the 4 steps to getting marketing clarity. 4 steps to marketing clarity, which starts with step 1, which is around claiming your ideal client. And even before you can claim your ideal client, or at least the very beginning part of that, is diagnosing this disorder. So I'm so glad you're here. We have so much to cover. I have so much to share. I'm planning on sharing things that I've actually never shared in a public sort of forum, just for anybody who wants to listen, because I've really come to the realization lately that there's just too many of you that are suffering, you know, that have a gift in the world, that something you're supposed to be really helping people with, and you're not getting it out there. And not only is your own soul dying because you're not doing your work, but there are people out there that really need you that don't know about you. There's kids that need you that don't know about you, and moms that need you, and organizations that are withering away because they don't know that you're there. And so really this is my gift to you, my community. I'm actually really happy to be able to just be here today and hold the space and answer your questions that you post in the Facebook chat there underneath the Hangout. And you know, if we can't answer them today, I'll make a commitment that we'll answer them somehow. We will make sure that we reach out to you and answer them, because I really appreciate you. And for some of you, this might be the first time that you're ever actually seeing me live. I only do one live event a year in November called 6 Figures on Your Terms, and otherwise it's videos and things like that. And this Hangout thing, there's something to it. I'm really resonating with this idea of being able to speak to you, and so I really want to thank you. If you're new to me, welcome to the Juicy Marketing world and the world of finding your authentic voice and having a business that you love, and you know, and balancing your life with family and all that. That's what we really value here. And if you've been around me a long time, it's great to see you, virtually, and connect with you. And so would love to see your comments below in the chat, if you're, you know, whoever you are, so we can connect with you and know who's with us today. So just a couple warnings. One is that there may be cursing. If you don't know me, you know, I'm from New Jersey. I blame it on New Jersey. I don't know what else to blame it on, but you know, sometimes you just need to have, you know, those colorful words. They just do the trick. So also, you're going to probably hear my crazy laugh, and I may do some funny, goofy things, like I pulled out these glasses here, and these glasses we gave out at our 6 Figures on Your Terms event last year, and they were specifically to help cure bright, shiny object syndrome. So it's very related to the multiple ideal client personality disorder, right? Because if you're trying to help everyone and you're going, you know, going everywhere, doing everything, and you're feeling a bit schizophrenic, you probably also have bright, shiny object syndrome, because you have lots of things you want to do and lots of new ideas and things. And so these glasses we gave out to everyone so that they would be able to ward off bright, shiny object syndrome. So I might be doing goofy things like putting on these glasses and things like that. And I have some other fun things planned. It's interesting. I woke up at 4:30 this morning. Yes, 4:30. Actually, not that quite unusual for me on the day that I'm going to speak. And I do lots of speaking on, you know, stages and big events, hundreds of people, and teleseminars, gosh, a few times a week at least. And this was different. There was all these things percolating, and I felt like I was getting ready for my own TV show. So it is really exciting to be here, and I can't wait to serve you. And so, you know, one of the things that's made me most successful, I think, in my 14 years is my willingness to really acknowledge when I have a skill gap. But I haven't always invested the time with a mentor or a coach or somebody that can help me fix it. In fact, I call myself the 10-year overnight success, and it's really funny, and it's very healing for me to make a joke about it. But my first 10 years in business, I was pretty flat in my revenue, and it wasn't horrible. I was making probably anywhere between 60 and 80K, depending on the year, which most people would really enjoy, and I did, until I was ready to up-level. Bella went to school. She was 2.5. She went to school, and I was like, looking at my maternity clothes, and the maternity clothes I was still wearing even though she was 2 years old, and it was just time to dust myself off and really look to see what I was supposed to be doing next. So what I want you to know is that after that 10 years, my big wake-up call was seeing the skill gaps that I had, but now deciding to actually get help. And so I would love to model that for you today and have you just, you know, in the privacy of your own home, wherever you are, just have an awareness of things that resonate with you, like, oh, you know what? That's a gap for me, or, you know, that's really standing in my way, or I think I really need to investigate that further. And let this be a little bit of a mini wake-up call for you, because, like I said, it's time to stop struggling in your business and really get to the heart of the thing that's holding you back. And what we talk about here is marketing message versus marketing strategy. And I want to talk a little bit about what I mean by that, but I want to finish my thought around making conscious decisions to invest with an expert when the time comes. And so, we've done it. Greg, my husband Greg, we've been married 19 years. We have sought experts for help with parenting. We've sought experts for making sure that we stay happily married, which we are, but it takes a lot of work. I've sought experts in my business, of course, as well. I mean, ever since 2009, when my income started to double and triple exponentially, I have invested at least 20 grand in my business every year with some kind of mentor. So, and what's really interesting, you guys, is that when I started to make those investments in myself, then other people started investing with me at that same level. And there was something really interesting about that. So the takeaway that I want you to get is one of the things that's made me most successful and helped us cross the $1 million mark in 2012 was consciously deciding to invest in skill gaps that I had and really having my eyes wide open. So I hope today will help you to have your eyes wide open and be honest with yourself, and even if you feel like you believe that you can't afford it or whatever the reason is, at least you'll know that this is the thing that's standing in your way. So you're in the right place if your marketing feels fuzzy. If you feel confused about all the advice that's out there, and like, gosh, if you hear one more thing that you're supposed to be doing, you're going to scream. And I feel the same way. So I can't even imagine how you could feel, because I'm still filtering all these things that I'm getting. If you feel like all your effort isn't paying off, and there's just nothing worse than feeling like you're trying and making an effort and not seeing a result, then I'm really, really glad that you're here. And I realized that some of you might have missed the opportunity to get into our Cash to Clarity program last week, and this is my gift to you, because this would really be the best way to get started on your road to clarity, is to be here, have this conversation about multiple ideal client personality disorder, hear from some people that have struggled right with you. And I want you to know this isn't just for newbies. It isn't just people that are new in business that have this struggle. In fact, it even feels like a bigger struggle for people that have success in other areas, or are been in business for a while. They feel like they should have had this thing handled, and that's really just not the truth, because we evolve constantly. And I think that's the other thing I really want you to know, is that if you're a mission-driven entrepreneur, which I define as somebody who's really conscious about themselves, their life, they're evolving, you're navigating things that you like and don't like, and you're making changes in your life. If you're that person, and of course you also really care about what it is you're doing, your business is going to change. In fact, it's going to change constantly. And so does your marketing need to change, and so does your ideal client focus need to change. And so if you have been in business for a while and you feel like you should have this thing handled, it's just not true. In fact, you might even have a backlog of changes that you need to make in order for your business to be back in alignment. And we know when we're not in alignment. I know I feel when I'm not in alignment. And I could, I wish I'll have a whole nother hangout about dark nights of the business soul, and the things that I've had to walk through, and the things I've seen my clients walk through so that they can up-level their business. So whether you're a newbie or you've been around forever, you feel like you've been around forever, I'm really glad you're here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I'm going to share with you something that I prepared just to really illustrate a point. So there's really two things. There's actually two distinct areas of marketing. For the purpose of really zeroing in today, is that there's strategy and then there's message. So the strategy is the doing, is actually mostly what you hear about. It's the you need to be on Facebook and in social media, and you need to be and you don't need to be doing all the you need to be doing videos, and you need to be doing hangouts, you need to be speaking, and you need to be at trade shows and seminars, and it's all the doing of marketing. It's the how to put yourselves out there, right? Now, what we're talking today is about message, which is the being of marketing. And this whole being and doing really builds on that expression. You might have heard, people talk about our inclination as humans to be human doing versus human being. And we do this in our business, and one of the biggest blind spots that I see, and I shared about this in a training call the other day, is that there's too much focus on the doing and not enough focus on the being or the message. And because message is really the ground zero of your business, and the doing is what we do when we feel like we're not getting results, and it's so easy just to keep thinking you need to add one more thing. So I'm glad you're here today, because we're going to be talking about message clarity and the impact of that on your business when you have that message clarity. So let's see. Yeah, I want to share one more thing with you, and then I'm going to have our first guest on. That our first guest, actually. Okay, I want to have our Hangout producer come on in a couple minutes here, now that we sort of got the ball rolling here. And she's going to give you some tips about how to make the most of this experience for yourself. And because whenever there's technology, there's always glitches and things like that. She's going to give you a little bit of tips and tools for how to make the most of this Hangout. And she's a client, and she's also a Hangout expert. Aren't I lucky? And then I'm going to introduce you to my head Juicy Marketing trainer, Kim Carpenter, who's in the Facebook chat supporting you, and behind the scenes. I want you to have a face with that name. And then I have a very special guest that is in this industry, that has clients coming to her all the time that have spent way too much time focusing on strategy and not enough time on their message, and then she has seen just the wreckage, really, of that. And so I invited her here today as a representative of people in the marketing industry that are constantly bombarded with people that are seeking clarity, and they seek it in all these different places. And really, what I know is that it's in here. You have clarity, and when you're given a path to figure it out, and you're shown that you might have multiple ideal client personality disorder, or that you do need to pick a focus, and you're guided to, it's really amazing what's within you, and that nobody else could really give that to you. So that's the third guest that we're going to have here in just a minute. Yeah, let me share one more thing with you. Let's see. Here we go. Am I doing good? This is really, I'm flipping through screens, I'm screen sharing. This is all new to me. I know I'm making it look so easy. Let's see, where's my image? Did it come up? Let's try that again. Screen. Well, that was fun. I'm back. All right, you guys hear me? All right, I'm back. This is so fun. Yay, technology! You see me now. Yay! Okay, I was about to share something else with you. I don't know if it was the screen share thing that messed things up, but let me just try to do it again. Let's see. Doesn't seem to want to be working. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you. I want to share with you that marketing message, right? We talked about strategy versus message. Marketing message is marketing ground zero. So I want you to actually write that down. If you're taking notes, I want you to write down marketing message is marketing ground zero. Like ground zero. Like there's nothing else before it. It like starts with ground zero. Meaning that everything in your business actually starts from your message and getting clear about who you're supposed to be serving. And so if it's wonky, like if the foundation of your house is like this and then you start to build, eventually, right, what's going to happen? It's going to fall over. And unfortunately, some people, it takes years and years and years of building and doing and focusing on strategy and doing, and finally they realize, you know what? My message just isn't landing, or I'm attracting all these people and they're not really a match. And so what's really good to know about what's really good to know about marketing message ground zero is that it actually dictates three different things. It actually dictates the words you use in your marketing. I want you to write this down. The words you use in your marketing, where you go to market, and whether or not they buy. Okay, so message is ground zero, and that's because it dictates what you say in your marketing, where you go to market, and whether or not they buy. Doesn't seem like anything's more important than that, right? Okay, so Lisa, I'm going to invite Lisa Engels to the Hangout, and I want to put you on the big screen here, and I'd like you to introduce yourself and share with people some tips around how to make the most of their time here and troubleshooting some things that they might be experiencing.
Awesome. All right, Lisa, I'm super happy to be here and help you do your first Hangout. And by the way, you're doing awesome. And you like so gracefully navigated out and back in to the Hangouts in no time. You're like a pro. Oh my God. So just to make everybody's viewing experience really pleasurable here, and so that you get the most out of what Lisa is sharing with you, I have a couple of tips for you. Number one is that all of this is being recorded. So if you came in late or you have to miss some of it, all of it is being recorded so you can come back and see it. When we do a Hangout on air, it's always recorded. Second thing is that everything is in a little bit of a delay. We're in real time here, but through the process of Google Hangouts, it's about a 30-second delay. So just have that in mind if you're asking Lisa questions in Facebook. And then the third thing is that the quality of the video that you're seeing with Lisa is going to be dependent on your internet speed. So be sure that you maybe have all other windows closed, or if you're multitasking with lots of other apps, you'll want to close those down to get the best quality video with your Hangout. And that's really it, Lisa, in terms of the quality of the video and getting people to have the best Hangout experience here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Lisa. So I want everybody to see Lisa Engels' URL, hangoutsforvisionaryleaders.com. And right now, actually, Lisa's a client, and we're working together to really to shift her business from it was primarily coaching, which probably still is in a certain way, and such a great overlap, I would say. And we're helping her to shift it to launch this whole new product and program. And so she's going to share more later about, just from a client perspective, and how that's been as much training and support that she's had, what a challenge it's been. And so you might relate more to her story. She'll be sharing a little bit later.
Yep.
Thanks.
So I'll see you all later.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So, all right. So I'm assuming that you guys all see me. It's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't see myself. So I don't know, Lisa, if you dropped off or not. But if you guys could chat, make sure, let me know that you could see me. And then I want to bring on another guest, because that's what Google Hangouts is all about, right? Bringing on guests. So I want to introduce you to Kim Carpenter, who is my head trainer. And she is, gosh, you know, one of the things we talk about at my event, Six Figures on Your Terms, we talk about duplicating yourself. And she really is, in essence, the embodiment of me duplicating myself, and she helps run the business. She's also our head Juicy marketing trainer, and she's here behind the scenes. I want you to know I brought in all the best reinforcements to support you today. And so if you're commenting in the chat below the Hangout and you are getting responses from Kim Carpenter, I want you to be able to place a face with a name. So Kim, if you could unmute yourself and come on live to say hello, that would be great.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me, Lisa?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great, great. It's so fun to be doing this. What an amazing what an amazing fun addition to our repertoire of ways that we serve our clients. I'm super excited, and it's so awesome to be here with all of you. And I want you to know, we see you. We can see how many of you are watching right now. And if you go down below, you'll see that there's a Facebook chat box, and I've been saying, hi, who's here, who's here? And I feel so alone. It's like crickets. I'm not hearing anybody. So please say hi. Just post in the comment box right there, right underneath the video of me right now, and just say hello. You don't have to say anything else, and you can unclick the also post on Facebook if you don't want to post on Facebook. But if you want to post on Facebook and you want all of your friends to come in and join us and join the conversation, then click that box and just say, hey, I'm hanging out with Lisa Cherney. We're talking about ideal clients. Come on over to the Hangout, and it'll give a link to this page so people can come and join us. So great to see you all. I'm going to be in there, and at one point Lisa's going to ask for questions. So I'm going to be capturing your questions and feeding them so Lisa can answer them. So that's the place that you want to post your questions, and we look forward to getting them.
Yay! Thanks, Kim. Awesome. All right. So what I want to do now, there's so much to cover, and it's amazing how the time is flying. We have had many people curious about this button that says, I am ready for a cure. So I just want to talk about that for a minute or two here, and then I want to bring on our special guest, who I believe is really one of the foremost experts in our industry on direct response copywriting. And you would think, like, oh, just hire her and it would cure my woes. And she's really here to tell you that, to tell you her perspective on that. And but before we do that, I want to just clarify. I keep looking over here because that's where I could see on my screen where the page is, but there's a button that says I'm ready for cure. Now what I want to share with you is that we have decided that in sort of celebration of our gift of this Hangout and being able to serve you today and provide some education as well as answer your questions, that we decided to set aside some time with our Juicy marketing coaches for 17 lucky people, for 17 people. And we do this from time to time, but usually not at this large a capacity. And how you know whether this might be a good investment of your time is if you find, if so far even what I've said is resonating with you, and you see that this truly is a huge barrier for you, this message clarity or focusing on message and multiple ideal client personalities, or you feel so spread thin, if this is resonating with you, you probably qualify for a session. And you also, just a couple more things about qualifying, because that's the only catch. There's no charge. I forgot to say that. There's no charge, and it's actually a $400 value to have a conversation with one of our Juicy coaches. And how you know you qualify is if you, like I said, what I'm saying so far with you really resonates on like just a true level for you. The other thing is you are already started in your business, right? So you've already gotten started with your business. You feel like it's underway. Our Juicy coaches really help people the best when they've already gotten started. So if you're just thinking about it, or it's really more of a hobby and you're just dabbling, it's probably not going to be a really helpful conversation right now, and we're happy to have you reach out to us when you've gotten started. So if you've gotten started enough to know that you're confused or what you're doing isn't working, or you're feeling kind of inauthentic with what you're doing, then you'd be a match for this. Also, if you have an income goal, we find that people that have a real clear income goal around what they want to do in their business really get so much from having a session with one of our Juicy coaches. They are very focused on what they want to create this year. And so if that's you, it doesn't need to be six figures or anywhere even near that, but you're clear what you want to create, then we would love to talk with you on one of these Juicy coaching sessions. Now, what's the outcome? The outcome of this session is going to be, what is the next best step for you? We're going to actually, in the qualification survey, we're going to ask you, what are you doing and how is it working? We're going to ask you about your multiple ideal client personality disorder, and we're going to want to know what your challenges are. And the outcome is for you is to be really clear about what is your next best step based on who your ideal client is and what you're focusing on in terms of your product, your program for your business, because that's the components of actually of getting clear on your multiple ideal client personality disorder. And unfortunately, I'm gonna teach you as much as I can about it, but it's such a personal thing that if you feel like you have it, the best thing to do is book yourself with one of these sessions with one of these coaches. So we're going to actually take many more than 17 applications because we do have a qualification process. And if you qualify, then you'll get notified actually right away and probably have a session right away. And we just ask that you really that you go into this commitment with this session as a really conscious step in the evolution of your business. I would say it's not free coaching. It's not like, oh, I'm going to get these tidbits and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. It's really for people that are ready to make some changes. And again, there's no catch. There's no fee. We don't try to sell you anything. That's not how we work around here. Of course, if you have questions about what we have going on, they can certainly answer that. But really the most important thing for us is that you take it as a very valuable opportunity and that you're really ready to make some big changes because of the conversation. And then we're just delighted to be able to support you in that way. So that's what the whole I'm ready for a cure button thing is, okay? So let's see. So now I want to bring on, I'm really excited about this guest. So my next guest, I'm going to introduce her and then we'll pop her on the screen here. So my next guest her name is Michelle Priza-Wasik, and you might know her as Michelle PW, and she is a really a direct response copywriter that's in pretty high demand. And some of her clients include people like Lisa Sasevich and Alex Mandosian and let's see, I was thinking, Brian Tracy and John Assaraf. Those are just some of her clients. Lisa Cherney, of course, also a client. And even, and it's because I have clarity with what I want to do that she is masterful at translating that. And I brought her here today because I really feel like she could shed light. A lot of people feel like, well, if I just hire somebody to do my marketing for me, like it would just solve everything. And so she's really here to speak to that. So please welcome to the Google Hangout, Michelle Priza-Wasik, the Kaching marketing expert.
Yay! Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Am I popping up?
You are, I think so.
It's not popping up for me. I just see you. But here, I wanted to show you. I've got the same clarity.
Oh, yay! Awesome.
So, okay, I am really glad to be here because one of the things, this comes up a lot, one of the things that I often say to people is that, I'm kind of the rocket fuel. Once you get clear on what you want to do, I can add the rocket fuel and really, take you somewhere. But if you're not clear, then we're adding rocket fuel to confusion, and that's no good. So it really helps to have your message already down pat. In fact, I even, we even talked about this. We had a client, a shared client that had, because the questionnaire that I had them fill out, they actually brought it to you first. That's how we actually met. Remember that? And so,
yeah.
Yeah, and it was because of that you and I connected, because you saw that the questions that I was asking are the questions that you actually help people uncover. But I was asking those questions not because I wanted to help them pull it out of them. I was asking those questions because I needed to know it in order to do my job. So if they couldn't answer the questionnaire, then I was really in trouble. So that's how we kind of got the connection. And and I have had clients, unfortunately, which has been bad, that haven't been clear, and they've ended up wasting a lot of money because we've had to redo things.
Oh, I love that perspective that you bring, because I just hear all the time, like, Lisa, can you just do this for me? Or I'm going to go hire, this amazing, super duper magical copywriter that's going to magically, like, pull the words out of my head, and, finally, once and for all, it's going to be clear. And the sad part is that means that they need to do that over and over again anytime anything changes too.
Right. Yeah, and also because I really need two things. I need for people to be clear on their message, and also clear on who their ideal clients are. And the problem is there might be some copywriters out there who are coaches and can pull things out of them, but I am not one of them. so with me, it's really. I can, I'm kind of like, I play a coach on TV. I'm not a coach, but I play one on TV type of thing. So I can ask a few questions and kind of like, for it to fake it a little bit. But if this is something that's really, really a problem, it's always better to get clear, get this stuff taken care of, and then, then you see the other beauty part of this is that you'll have all these materials. You can actually bring materials that you would work on with somebody like you, Lisa, to me. So you might not even have to fill out the questionnaire, or you might be copying and pasting. So you're going to have to do the work no matter what, and this way you can bring this, and then I can help. Then at that point, like I said, we can add the rocket fuel to it, and and get everything moving for you.
I love that. I love that you're adding rocket fuel and you're making sure it's going in the right direction. I think that's a really great metaphor. Yeah.
So that's not what we want.
Yeah. So, and I really appreciate you being here, and I think that it gives people a perspective about where does what we're talking about really fit into the marketing equation. Like, people say to me all the time, like, is this branding? And I'm like, no, this is like 10 steps before branding. Branding is pretty packaging and often empty inside. Well, is this copywriting? And it's like, well, I could teach you headline writing, formulas, but if you don't know who you are and what you do and the benefits of your work, and like, you're not going to be able to apply the formula.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up branding, because it's true. I mean, I'm not a branding person, but I can speak to that, because if you weren't clear and you came to a branding person, most branding people, they're not designed either to pull a lot of this out of you. In fact, I knew somebody who worked with a branding person who wasn't a very good coach, and they ended up creating a brand form that sent them completely in the wrong direction. They lost a lot of money before they got themselves righted. So, yeah, and it was a bad thing. So, yeah, it's really before anything, you really need to get this done.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I know you might, if you need to run, I understand you're a very busy gal, but I appreciate you putting on makeup for me and a jacket. And I know
shower too.
I know. I had to shower too on a Friday morning. Not usually what I do. Actually, Fridays are usually my pajama day, because Greg brings Bella to school and I don't have to get dressed for anything. But I'm like the opposite today. But it's worth it. So thank you for doing that as well, Michelle.
No problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so that was Michelle, and copywriting, right? She's a copywriting expert, and she was really here to sort of bring home my whole point about strategy versus message and the power of all that. So there was something I was trying to share with you before that it didn't work, and I want to bring it back up here, and it's the idea that marketing ground zero, the message clarity is marketing ground zero, and like I said, this is like the foundation of your house, and it's the words you use in your marketing, where you go to market, and if they buy or not. So if you have any fuzziness, I talked about blind spots last week, and having a message that your ideal clients don't hear, it doesn't stand out, is a pretty big blind spot for a lot of people, and they just keep going with the activity. And they're not sure why why clients aren't buying. So I just wanted to make sure that you really have the visual that I'm trying to get here with the ground zero. So I think that was worth sharing with you. All right, back to me. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. This is like the Wild West here. What else am I supposed to be talking about? Oh yeah. So let's see. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay, I'm very excited. So I have another guest I want to bring up, but I wanted to ask if there are any questions. I want to ask Kim, who is moderating our Facebook comments and our chats, if there's been any questions that we want to bring into the conversation now. And while we're working on that, because I know there's a little bit of a delay, I want to bring up a context. I talked about how claiming your ideal client and diagnosing your multiple ideal client personality disorder, how it actually is the first of 4 steps to message clarity. So I want to make sure that you really see the context that I'm talking about. So I'm going to see if I could share this with you here. All right, cool. So this is really, really powerful. So 4 steps to marketing message clarity. Step 1, claim them. Get focused and choose your ideal client. So the multiple ideal client personality disorder, MICPD, if you're sick of hearing me say it, goes right there in that very first stage. And we have people come to us that have been struggling with this for years and years. and they think it's because they're not good at business, or they think it's because maybe they shouldn't be doing the work that they're doing, like they feel like maybe nobody needs this. I mean, there's all this awful confidence impact that happens, and so that's where this part goes, and that's step one. And the second step, we call it help them. It's using their words so you stand out. So once you know who they are, you get to use their words. And I want to talk a little bit more about this, and some of our guests are going to talk a little bit more about this, but it's in getting inside their head so that the words that you choose are resonating with them, and it's not coming from you and what you think they need. It's such a subtle thing, but so powerful. And people tell us this is like a superpower. Like once they get their ideal client connection cap on and they can really tune in, it's a whole nother ball game. And then of course it's a skill that they can learn over and over again. So whether you work with us on these steps or not, I just want to make sure that you know what the steps would be if you're going to do this on your own. The third step is attracting them, which is articulating your value so that they find the money. So it's the benefits. You might have heard me talk about juicy benefits. It's the benefits of your work, the outcome. It's you getting really clear about the impact of your work with them. And then, of course, the last step is finding them. Everybody wants to know, where are my ideal clients? How can I find them? How can I find clients that can afford me? In fact, that's one of the questions that we get asked a lot, and I'll answer that one because that's a juicy one. So I wanted to make sure you see the 4 steps. Claim them, help them, attract them, find them. Claim them, get focused and choose your ideal client. Help them, use their words. Attract them, articulate your value so they find the money. And of course, finding them, discovering your marketing strategy sweet spot. What are the things that you should be doing? So I hope that was helpful to see that visual. I'm a really visual person, so I always like to share as much as I can when it comes to good visuals. So one of the questions that we get often is, how do I find clients that could afford me? How do I find clients that can afford me? And I just want to answer that one because I bet you it's a question that many of you have. And the thing is that it's not about showing up at a marketing event that has all these rich clients. It's about putting yourself at a networking or marketing event where the people that are struggling with what it is that you help them with are there, and you know exactly what to say about what you do, so there's a connection. It's like there's that person that's struggling, and they probably prayed about you that morning, like, God, please help me. Like, I need someone just to help me with this, right? They show up at the networking meeting and then that thing that they're struggling with is the very thing that you help people with, and you have the words within you now, and you say them, and then this person is like, oh my God, I need that, because they actually heard you, and that's where the connection happens. So it's not about, it is about people finding the money, and they will find the money. Like, okay, let me just talk about finding the money. How many of you, I wish I could just ask you to raise your hands, how many of you have ever found the money for something that you needed and you didn't have the money? Like if I asked you an hour before, you would say, no, I don't have the money, and then something shows up in your space, and it's so clear that you absolutely must have that right now. Like, you need it. It's like you don't want your life to go on another day without having that solution. You find the money. And your clients, your ideal clients, they don't need to be able to afford you. They just need to be able to hear you. I've never said that before. Your ideal clients, they don't need to be able to afford you. They just need to be able to hear you. And they will find the money. So when you're looking at those 4 steps, claim them, help them, attract them, find them, what we're talking about specifically now is predominantly in the attract them part. It is about you getting clear in your own words and inside, where you really feel confident to communicate how you help them, how you will change their life so that they hear you and there's that connection. So that's answer to one question around how do I find clients that could afford me. All right, so now I want to bring on a very exciting guest. Okay. All right, I'm just looking at the little chat here, seeing if there's anything I should know. Okay, All right, I don't think there's anything I should know. So I want to bring on a very special guest. Her name is Deb Bang. And I'm going to do a little introduction, and then we're going to bring her onto the screen. So Deb is a current client of mine, and about a year and a half ago, I think now, maybe a year and 3/4, she left a very lucrative executive position in the area of marketing to really create her own thing, and she'll share a little bit about what inspired that. And she started with me in Cash Through Clarity, and she heard the message about multiple ideal client personality disorder and making sure that her words landed with her ideal clients so that they would be inspired, and she just, whatever it is that I said about it, she's like, I need that. And then she went on to work with me in Six Figure University. Now, I'm just going to mention it here. We're not open for enrollment right now, but it's a year-long program that includes the marketing piece as well as selling, speaking, creating a group programs. We do live events. It's a really wonderful program. It's a year-long mentorship program. So she was with me in that for a year as she evolved. And now I'm really honored to say that she's in my inner circle. So we have a group of about 8 men and women that I work with directly in coaching, and I'm getting a chance to work with Deb now. And I'm bringing her on because of her journey. So you can see she's been on quite a journey, and I think she can really bring home some of what I've been talking about so far. So I'd like to welcome to the Hangout Deb Bang.
Hey, Lisa, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay!
Yay! And it's been such a great journey. And it's hard to think about it, but it's only been a year since we started working together. I guess Cash Through Clarity was maybe a year and a half ago. It's amazing that it's gone by so quickly. And I remember when I first came to Cash Through Clarity, and Lisa said I had a career in marketing. It's true. I've spent 28 years in marketing. Excuse me. So, just talking to demographics and creating all these different client profiles. And so when I came to Lisa, I said, I know who my ideal client is. She's a woman over 40. And she wants to be healthy, hot, and happy. And who doesn't, right? How many women over 40 are there? So I clearly, that was too big, and that was a demographic. And so then I narrowed it to women in business over 40 who want to be healthy, hot, and happy. And then I narrowed it down to women entrepreneurs. And then it was actually, excuse me, in our inner circle retreat when, see, I'm choking up on it, right? I did that in the inner circle too. When it comes to real clarity, sometimes your voice goes out. So when I was at the Inner Circle retreat just a few weeks ago, I finally honed in on who my ideal client really is. And she's a woman who's been through a crisis. And whether it was a divorce or a death of a spouse or someone she loves or a crisis in her career, and now she needs to make a transition and she feels stuck and she doesn't know where to turn. She's just not used to putting herself first. And she knows she doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes all over again, but she's not clear how she got here. So I help her become who she is, and we figure out how she got here, and we create a vision of the future and build a roadmap for living a life she loves. And she gets to show up on her own to-do list, maybe for the first time. And she falls in love with her life all over again. And maybe the first time she's actually fallen in love with her life. So that was a far cry from women over 40.
That's awesome. So can you talk a little bit about, I think some people feel like they need to pick something and stick with it, and then when they don't stick with it, they feel like they're, flakes or not cut out for business, or their confidence gets shot. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you've had some experience with that.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I've been through a wormhole. So sometimes, you try something and you have some success and you do it and you get some clients, and then something starts to not feel so good. And so then you can go in and start getting really introspective on, well, why doesn't this feel good? So it's really an iterative process. The worst thing you can do is just stay stuck and do nothing, because then the world never gets to hear you or see you. You never get to help anybody. But if you just keep iterating, if you've got an idea, It's low cost. Put together a hangout, put together a call, attract those people in, and deliver them something. You're constantly learning over time. It's a spiral, you know. We're always going up, and every time we go around, we're gonna change, we're gonna grow, and we're gonna get better and closer to our ideal. So the worst thing to do is nothing. And the good thing to do is keep trying, keep iterating, and keep going back to what Lisa teaches and the ideal client homework, which I've done over and over again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Deb. I thank you for your willingness to be here, and I think sharing, being vulnerable and sharing, because you know what you're doing now, the great do-over, and what you're doing now, and right now you're focusing on women and divorce, and it's so powerful. And you're able to bring in the health aspect, which is really your passion. And I think some people feel like when they get a certification of some sort, you know, that they have to sort of be that. And then they might get other certifications after that. And then I call it actually the healer's journey. It's like, you know, they'll get a certification to be some type of coach, and then they'll get a certification to do a modality, or then they'll get a certification to do a certain process. And then all of a sudden now they're not the life coach or the nutrition coach or the EFT expert or the, you know, that now they have all these different talents. And then that's when the journey starts, I think, to really figure out, okay, who am I here to serve? Because these are all just tools in my toolbox now. Now I need to really decide who it is that I'm serving at a core. What are they struggling with? So I love that you're able now to expand your toolbox so that you can serve people that are, you know, going through a big do-over in their life, and you're pulling in all of your expertise, and it's really fun to see.
Thanks, Lisa. Yes, the Great Do-Over was a big success, and it's just something. It's an idea that came to me. So I had the confidence to just put it out there and do it, and lo and behold, attracted my ideal clients. I'm having a blast.
Woohoo! Awesome. Woo-hoo. Thanks, Deb, for being here all the way from Long Island.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was really fun. So I brought a prop with me. I think it's time for a little bit of comic relief. So one of the things that, you know, people said when I was complaining that I actually had to take a shower and get all dressed up for the hangout, you know, mostly men, they would say, oh, well, you only need to get dressed from the top up. Like, well, little do they know as women, like, what else is there, right? It's the hair and the makeup and everything. And so what? I'm wearing sweatpants. It still felt like trouble. But I figured out this morning what I love so much about getting all dressed up and then just walking downstairs and putting this camera on and being here with you is I don't have to wear uncomfortable shoes. So I want to show you, these were the shoes that went with this outfit. So you can see, doesn't that look nice? See, look nice. We'll move the camera down. Yeah, see, that would look really nice, right? But the cool thing is I don't have to wear these shoes. So instead, you guys want to see what I'm wearing? Yes, yes, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Yes, you want to hear it? See what I'm wearing? Okay. Let me show you what I'm really wearing on my feet. You're going to love this. My fuzzy slippers! Aren't those cute? They kind of match, too, a little bit. So I'm all dressed up on top, and I get to wear my fuzzy slippers on the bottom. So that's what I love about, Google Hangouts. Yes, it's nice to be engaged and all that good stuff. So want to make sure we're getting some requests at the I'm Ready for a Cure. I want to make sure I'm really clear that these are one-on-one sessions with the Juicy Marketing Coach, and there's no charge. So yes, there's no charge. It's a $400 value, and the only catch is that you qualify. And I talked a little bit about how you qualify, but really how we know is you go to you click the link and you put your name and your email, and it's going to take you to a survey. I'm just going to show you what it looks like, so you won't be afraid at all to click it. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so once you click the I am ready for a cure, you'll be taken to a page where you put your name and your email, and after that page, you'll be taken to this page that says, let's see if you qualify. It's totally fun. There's no like buzzer that's going to happen. There's no you know, it's totally fun. It's a little bit of a survey. It'll take you probably like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And the cool thing about this survey is that it makes your session with your coach so laser focused, because now they know your background. Like you'll see it says, Are you currently marketing your business? What are challenges that you're facing? It asks you if you think you have multiple ideal client personality disorder. So that's what happens when you click the I am ready for a cure. I am ready for a cure. It takes you to a page just before this one where you put your name and your email in there, and then this is where you land. It's our survey page. And then after you fill out the survey, you just press submit, and then you'll immediately, not only will you get a copy of your survey, but you'll also, within I think a couple hours, you will get a link to, if you qualify, to schedule your session. Now, if you don't qualify, what we say is it's probably just a timing thing. Like maybe you haven't done enough, maybe you haven't actually worked in your business enough or met with clients enough, or maybe you haven't done much marketing, so you're not quite sure how it's landing. Really, the people that get the most out of these sessions are frustrated. Like you've done enough to know that your marketing is actually working against you instead of for you. You may have website shame, and even if it's pretty, you actually don't want people to go there. You don't know what to say when people say, so what do you do? It's like a terrifying question for you, or it's not terrifying, but you just find that you're saying the different thing each time. And that's a huge blind spot. People think, well, if I just had a 30-second introduction, everything would be fine. And it's not, because it's actually just an indication of a bigger global issue with having fuzzy marketing. Because if you don't know what to say to people, even if you come up with the perfect thing and you give them your card, then, oh, I forgot I was screen sharing. Let me stop that. Yeah, because I was doing motions, but you weren't hearing me. So even if you're giving them your card, and on the card is your website, if you really don't want them to go there, that's a really it's a really important blind spot to acknowledge, because it means that you don't have clarity or confidence about your messaging at all, not offline or online. And by the way, marketing message offline and online. All marketing programs now seem to be focused on online and having your website say the right thing. But it's not. It's still really relevant to be clear about what you say to people when you meet them, to what you say to people when you're speaking or doing something like this, what you say to people when they say, I think I'd like to explore working with you. Now you have to really speak to what it is that you do. That's all marketing related. So if you're considering making any investments in the marketing message or clarity arena, make sure that it's really going to serve you for what you're doing offline as well as online. Okay, I have a few more guests I want to bring on. Let's see. Oh yeah, I want to bring on Kamiko. Can you text me or can you message me and let me know if Kamiko is ready to play? So I asked Kamiko to come here. I'm gonna just get her information here. So so she's a very accomplished woman, and where she likes to play is in the realm of angels and metaphysical. And she's a transformational speaker. She's an entertainer. You'll see she's just delightful. But she has multiple ideal client personality disorder. And so I asked her to come. She's also a Cash Through Clarity student, so it's great that she decided that she was done with that. And so I had her come on, and when she was sharing with me some information, I said, well, Kamiko, would you be okay if I coached you live on the Hangout? And so she was game for it. So let's get Kamiko on the line. All right, is Kamiko on? Hello, Kamiko. I don't see or hear Kamiko, so if somebody could guide me. She needs to adjust her camera. She's here now. Okay. Can you guys hear Kamiko? Because I can't hear her. Hello, can you speak, Kamiko? Hello? Oh, bummer. This is going to be so juicy. Now we can't. Oh, there you are. I can't hear you, though. Bummer. You look so great though, and your background is so pretty, and this was going to be juicy, and I can't hear you. Poop. All right, I'm going to ask my producer, Lisa, should we just go on to our next guest, or is there anything that we can do to help her to come through? All right. All right. I'm sorry, sweetie. We need to move on to the next guest. Bummer. But you just look so cute. So you know what? I think I might talk about you anyway, and maybe if we can keep yourself unmuted, and maybe you'll pop up if your microphone works. So so let's talk a little bit about multiple ideal client personalities. So we're going to use Kimiko. We're going to use you as a case study, even though we can't hear you. All right. So she talks about. So let me see. Let me. You know what? I want to show you another visual just to teach a little bit here about multiple ideal client personality disorder, and then it will help make this more clear. Oh, okay, yeah, this is perfect. Okay, so here's the first visual that I want to share with you. So there's two ways that you suffer from multiple ideal client personality disorder. There's two indications. One is you have different products or services. You have different products or services. So here you can see pictured our Cash Flow Clarity 90-day training and coaching program. You can see my book, Inspiration to Realization, and then you see my 3-day event. Each of those actually has a different ideal client. Now there's some similarities because I'm the common denominator, right? I want people that are, you know, action takers, that wanting to invest in moving their business forward, that want to have a business that feels great to them, you know. But the Cash Flow Clarity is really for people that are craving that confidence to know what to say about what they do in any marketing or selling situation. They want to have all the words they need for all their marketing. That's Cash Flow Clarity. Now, 6 Figures on Your Terms, a live event, we do some of the work in Cash Flow Clarity, but it's very much about creating a business on your terms. The tagline is full-time prosperity, part-time hours, right? So there's a bit of a different focus. And I actually had a bit of I'll say a dark night of the business soul 2 summers ago before we launched 6 Figures on Your Terms, because it was time for me to define a new ideal client. And it wasn't going to be just about marketing, but it was going to be about how to teach people how to work part-time like I do, how to get to 6 and 7 figures working part-time, you know, how to really create some structure and systems in their business, and making decisions and yes and no about things they need to keep and let go of. And there's all these things we taught at that event that were about my lifestyle, right? And then of course things that I've taught my inner circle and 6 Figure University members. It was time to really bring them out. So I actually went through a little bit of what we call a wormhole, you know, dark night of the business soul, and because it was right in front of me that I needed to define a new ideal client, and I didn't see it. So I'm not immune to it. And so my point is that you there's 2 ways that you could see whether you have MICPD. You know, one of them is through this idea of having multiple products. And here's the other way. I'm going to show you another visual here. Share my screen. The other way is, do you have different groups you want to help, right? This is all things. This is all indications of different groups that it might be in your heart to serve. So, you know, and some people call them demographics, but there aren't always just pure demographics. But if you have a product that you want moms to see, and then but then the same product you're thinking, oh, that would also really be great for teenagers, and oh, you know what, but I think, you know, seniors can use it too. All of those things are different ideal client groups. All of those things are different ideal client groups. And so that's how you know that actually it's not, that's how you know that your confusion is for a good reason. That's how you know that your fuzziness or lack of clarity is actually for a really good reason, is that you have multiple products, you know, like I showed you, you have multiple products or programs that you're trying to juggle between or focus on, you're not sure what you're marketing when, or you have basically one product or program, like say a chiropractor, has one pretty much way that they approach their work, but you know, one chiropractor I worked with, she wanted to work with athletes, and she wanted to work with moms, and she wanted to work with kids with asthma. And I said to her, you know what, if an athlete goes to your website, somebody that, and her ideal client athlete was somebody that wanted to shave time off of their records, like they were professional athletes or Olympians, if they went to her website, her chiropractic website, and they saw her talking to moms, they would not think that she was the one for them. So that's the power and the potency of getting really clear and focusing, and it's not forever. So the resistance that comes up is that, oh, I'm going to have to say no to people who really need me. Not the case. It's your outward marketing energy. So it's where you're going to be going to market, and what actions, the strategies that you're going to be choosing should be focused on one ideal client group at a time. And we suggest to our students that they focus for a good 3 to 6 months on one. And they start to see the cash flowing in. They start to see traction. They start to see they're creating deeper relationships within, you know, the communities that they're choosing to market. They start to see that they're really tuning into the frequency of that ideal client. And when it starts hitting their bank account, now the resistance is dropped, and they're like, okay, I'll stick with this for a while. All right, so it looks like we might have Kamiko on again, so I'd love to try to see if it's going to work. We got some juicy stuff with you, Kamiko.
Are you hearing me?
I am hearing you, and yay! I'm so excited.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
Okay, so why don't you share? Why don't you just share a little bit about yourself and kind of how you found me and why, and then we'll see if we want to dive into a little bit of the coaching part.
Okay. Well, I actually saw you speak several years ago on the multiple ideal client personality disorder, and I was thinking, oh my God, this is so brilliant. I love the way that you were laying everything out. But I didn't sign up to work with you because I was afraid that I wasn't far enough in my business, or the investment would be too large for me because I wouldn't be able to do the work. I wouldn't be able to give the words, or I just thought, I'm not there yet. So lo and behold, I stalked you for a few years and finally pulled the trigger and decided, you know what, I am going to do this, and I'm going to be a success story on her website. So I'm just going to make it happen. And when I fully committed and started doing the first, the pre-assignment and the first module, I got really excited because I felt like, wow, this is so clear the way that she puts it out. I feel like I definitely, I do know a lot more about my business and my ideal clients than I even knew that I did. So I feel like a huge relief because I feel like I don't have to choose between men and women, or people between 35 and 40, or people with brown hair and gold highlights. Like, I feel like I have like some freedom to really let the people who are meant to work with me come towards me. So I'm really excited. I know I'm not 100% there yet, but I have like, I'm out the gate. I'm running, so I'm really excited to be here, and nervous but excited that you're going to be coaching me today.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So it worked out well that we couldn't get you at first, because I got to do a little bit of teaching around the way to look at multiple ideal client personality disorder is look to see if you have multiple products or programs that you offer. So it could be one-on-one, groups, retreats, coaching. It could be physical products, you know, that you have as well. Or you could have MICPD because you have all these different groups of people that you want to help. So where do you think that your challenge is stemming from? Which area?
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. I'm not sure if I want to focus on helping entrepreneurs because I'm actually surrounded by women who are starting businesses or have been running businesses for a while. However, I'm really focusing on my work with angels now, and so I was kind of like, I have an online community that I'm a part of, and it's a very active community, and they know about angels, but they're not necessarily business owners. And in person, I'm around a lot of savvy businesswomen, but they're not necessarily, you know, staying up at night saying, oh, I wish my angels would just talk to me yet. They don't necessarily know that the angels are trying to talk to them. So I'm like, what do I do? Am I this angel business coach or business angel? Like, I'm getting mixed up there and not knowing exactly where to focus yet, because I really want to help people sooner rather than later instead of keeping myself held back farther and farther because I'm afraid I'm going to pick the wrong niche.
Okay, great. Well, you know, pick a niche and ditch your niche and you'll get rich, right?
Okay. Sounds good.
So, so if we look at the demographic or the groups of people, what I'm hearing you say is you've looked at business owners as one of the groups of people. Yes?
Yes.
And then what are the other groups of people that you're feeling called to serve?
Maybe people who are, well, they definitely believe in angels. They already know that angels exist and that they're very real, or they're willing to be open to the possibility of magical things in their life happening and the answers to their prayers coming to them.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you. So when we get into defining ideal client, there's two stages. And so what we're talking about today is the multiple ideal client personality disorder part, which is the products or programs or the demographics. Then we get into, like, their beliefs, you know, and what they're open to, and that's stuff, that's ideal, that's really juicy ideal client stuff. And as you know, Kamiko, we have actually two stages when we work with people. It's the sort of the upfront MICPD, which is usually where most marketing programs stop, you know, and then once we get clear on, say you're going to focus on a program, a workshop around angels and intuition for business owners, right, that would be an example of picking a group. Then we go, okay, it's not all business owners, so let's talk about what they prefer and what they're struggling with, and that's when we get into what they believe and what they're open to. But first, before we even get to any of that, we need to decide, is it business owners? Is it executives? Is it moms? Just because they all hang out in different places, so you can see if you're trying to do it all, you're not going to be on your sweet spot. So so in addition to business owners, are there any other groups, or does that feel like that's the group?
Well, I mean, it really is also people who feel like they just almost had their chance in the spotlight or to do what they really wanted to do, and something else came up and it blocked them, or they're having a really hard time just getting their project off the ground, but they know they can. Or you might be familiar with this term, Lisa, indigos. They have a lot of smarts, they have a lot of intelligence, but they're considered ADHD because they're not able to fit into the mold of, like, appropriate work hours, or how they're just not able to function in, like, a traditional work setting.
Right.
So they may be kind of being pushed into being an entrepreneur, and then they find themselves an entrepreneur, and there's so much work associated with being a business owner that they're like, oh my God, I am stupid after all.
Yeah. So a demographic could be an entrepreneur that has sort of ADD tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a way to add an element to the demographic of the entrepreneur that really has them be a little bit closer to experiencing what it is that you're going to be helping them with. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because and they feel the pain, like anybody that would sort of self-identify. I mean, ADD has become like a common adjective, right? It's like, oh, I'm kind of ADD. Like, people joke about it now. So it's not even, you know, where a year ago or 2 years ago I might not even say, oh, don't say ADD, because no one's going to admit that they're ADD. But I think it's just a way of describing somebody who is sort of into a lot of things and has trouble focusing. And I think that would be a great demographic for you to start with. And gosh, can you imagine getting inside that person's head, right? When we get into the help them part, it's, you know, their inner dialogue. Like, what do you think some of their inner dialogue would be? Like, just start with an I statement. What do you think some of their inner dialogue would be?
Well, I just need to find someone who appreciates how skilled I am. Or I am willing to work hard, but I can't find the people to appreciate how hard I work.
Yes.
I know that I'm talented and I know I can do it. I don't know what it is that I have to do. Somebody
Awesome.
just show me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah. Awesome. So this is great. We're kind of getting past multiple ideal client parts. We're actually getting into step 2 of the Get Clarity process, which is getting inside their head. So now we can see some headlines that we might use, like, do you feel like you're smart and you just don't understand why you're not getting ahead, or are you confused about why are you confused about why you're so confused? Right? And so it's then I hope everybody really sees the difference between using those types of words versus her saying, like, do you want to connect with your higher self and get more, like that, right? That's not what they're really saying. So for you to really meet them where they're at will be really, really powerful.
Yeah, because I'm also, the thing about me is that I really am, even though I talk to the angels all the time, I'm not like fluffy and rainbows all the time. I really do have some really like serious, down-to-earth, I tell it like it is, so I don't want to just be marketing to spiritual people necessarily, only to spiritual people, or
right.
to, on that line of I'm marketing to religious people or something like that because I'm talking about angels.
Right, and I think that's a really important distinction, because people will think, well, I'm kind of spiritual, I should be marketing to spiritual people, but it's not about the demographic. Like, you pick it to get focused, and then you have to do the other deeper work around claiming your ideal client, because it's not even all spiritual people, because some spiritual people, they don't want to invest themselves, they're not ready to make changes, they're really attached to their story. There's all these reasons why a quote-unquote spiritual person wouldn't be a match. So that's what makes this 2-step process of claiming your ideal client, first the diagnosis and then going deeper, so powerful. So I'm so glad you're in Cash Through Clarity, and you're gonna, these ADD tendency people are gonna actually get to work with you and hear you.
Me too. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that I'm zeroing in and really excited to continue the program. So yeah.
Awesome. And thank you for being here. I think that your willingness to state publicly your confusion is going to serve others.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm also really excited to be in the community. The community has been really active, which is another reason why I signed up for the program. I knew that I needed to, even though I've been doing business coaching for people, I knew I needed to be with like minds who were going to help me figure out my thing, and I wasn't going to have to just position myself as somebody who knew it all. So it's been really nice being able to be in the Facebook group, and I haven't posted my homework yet, but I'm going to do that in the forum. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, thanks, Kimiko. Yum. So thanks for all your comments in the Facebook group, by the way. We have Kate McCall, who's giving a shout out to Kimiko. She said, ADHD, I wish I could focus. So go ahead and check out the Facebook group, Kimiko. I think you're attracting your ideal clients already.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. All right, just a couple other shout-outs. Let's see. All right, Carol, I hope that was really helpful to you. I think that was a great example of multiple ideal client personality disorder, and appreciate seeing some of my friends here, Jay Fizette and Cassandra, and of course Kim. I see, and Steve Cozart. This is great. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the Facebook group. It's awesome to see all the let's see, who else? Laura Pedro, yay! And this is great. And you know what? I am trying something new, and it's completely imperfect. And you know what? I think that if I waited to have this whole Hangout thing figured out and have everything timed perfect and have a script, which you cannot even do on a Hangout, there's like no way to have a script, I wouldn't be doing this. And I think that those of you that are entrepreneurs, they're true entrepreneurs in your spirit, get that. It's a bit of the Wild West. You just don't, if you're going to continue to push yourself outside your comfort zone, which I believe you need to do when you're an entrepreneur, because you're sort of on your own. So there's all these new things to learn and technology, and then there's always new opportunities to get your message out there. And so thank you for being with me and for your patience around the imperfection of this and the, we can't hear her, and I got dropped off, which just, blame it on Google, right? This is it's a free service from Google Plus, Hangouts, and it's their collaboration with YouTube, and I think it's pretty darn cool considering that we get to do this all for free. So really glad you're here. Let's see. Oh, yes. Let's see. It looks like I have another guest on my docket, but I do also want to remind you, we still have some sessions. I want to remind you we set aside 17 spots for the I'm Ready for a Cure sessions, which are one-on-one sessions with a juicy marketing coach. And I'm told we still do have sessions left. And I just want to make sure you take action now while you're in the space of it. If you're feeling like, wow, what she's saying is really resonating, and sometimes you hear a speaker or you're on one of these educational experiences and something resonates with you and you take notes and you're like, yeah, I really need to think about that. Well, I'm going to really suggest that you take action while you're here, before before we end the hangout and you're off doing whatever else you're doing for your for the next few days. It's so easy to go back into email and check our phone and all that stuff. I do the same thing. And what I started actually working with a spiritual advisor on some blocks that I'm having. And I did a session with her, and she gave me homework, and it took everything in me not to check my email before making sure that I blocked off time on my calendar to keep the commitment that I made to her about what I was going to do. And so it's really about a commitment to yourself and a commitment to your mission. That if this piece around marketing message, like if you have any insecurities in this area at all, it's actually not negotiable. It's not something that you could skim over and push it under the rug and kind of hope that it's not going to rear its ugly head, because it does. Whether it means that you're dropping money trying to get someone to do your marketing for you, or it means you've done a Facebook ad campaign or got a speaking gig, or you done something and you didn't get the results. Like, if we could mitigate some of that and help you actually get out there faster and have what you're doing really land for the people that you're supposed to be doing it for. I'm on a soapbox. Everybody needs to have a soapbox. You should have a soapbox and really be able to share it, and just alignment and intensity and conviction, and that clarity and that conviction, that equals clients and cash. I mean, it's a formula that I use, and it's so true. So grab one of those 17 spots for the I Am Ready for a Cure sessions with a juicy marketing coach. Click in there. Don't worry about clicking. You can put your name in your email and check out the survey. It's actually super fun to fill out. It's a little bit of a diagnostic, a little bit of an assessment. It'll have you asking yourself some questions that are probably really worthwhile asking, and then click submit my survey, and then we'll get in touch with you if you qualify to actually have that conversation. And I'm so excited for those of you that are already taking action. It was actually a conversation just like that really had me, go from my 10-year overnight success to a whole different trajectory in my business. I mean, I could tell you it was February of 2009, and I was realizing that there was this really big calling in me to up-level my business, and I felt like I was just supposed to be reaching more people, and I wasn't, and it was such an ache, and I just couldn't ignore it anymore. And so I started to make little investments and take little actions that eventually led me to my first mentor that I worked with for a year. And I mean, that year I tripled my income. It was 2009. I tripled my income. I went from $70K a year to $250,000. I could not believe it. I really could not believe it. And I look back, and it was like, I remember an intuition that I had in the shower to reach out to this certain mentor, and I thought, oh my God, can I afford her, and would she even take my call? And I just followed my intuition, and the next thing I know, we were working together, and I was able to find the money. And so I can't say enough about taking conscious action when you realize that there's something that you need. So the Juicy coaches are awesome. They always tell me, tell people we're really nice and we don't bite. And again, they're not going to try to sell you anything, because who wants to work with anybody that has to be, sold to in order to, we just don't do that. The outcome will be, what is the next best step for you to take based on what product or program it is that you have to offer, and who your ideal client is, and what you've tried in the past. We want to know what you've tried in the past and where your struggle is, and you will know what is the next best step for you to take. That is truly the outcome of that session, and of course, if you want to know what we have going on in terms of our how to work with me, they can answer your questions as well. But other than that, you're just going to walk away with clarity, and who doesn't want clarity, right? Okay, let's see. I know I'm like completely behind on my schedule of my guests. Let me think here. You know what? I think I want to have Dawn. If Dawn is ready, I would love. I know that I might be catching you off guard, or maybe not, because this is the time frame we talked about. But I think it's time for them to meet you, one of my newer clients, and somebody that's really made a lot of investments lately to up-level her business. And why did this? Why working with this material? Why seeking clarity? So if you're ready, Dawn, I'd love to have you come on and introduce yourself and share with people why this piece of work that you're doing right now when it comes to your marketing clarity, what really the impact is for you.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I'm so excited to be a part of this, and I am Dawn Morningstar, the founder of Venerable Women, and the Venerable Women organization was founded to inspire women to love, honor, and respect themselves so that they could live the lives that they secretly dream of living. So what happened, Lisa, was I was doing that with really great effect with individuals, small groups. I would go to destination spas and do week-long retreats. And one day a woman said to me, I wish every woman I know could have the love and support and clarity that I've gotten from you this week that we spent together. And it really hit me that, this woman's life was transformed because of our work together. And how could I reach more people than that? And it felt uncomfortable for me at first because the nature of Venerable Women is very spiritual, and so I felt like only having intimate, in-person type gatherings would be the way to go. And so then when I met you at Author 101, phenomenal presentation you did, and Lisa, there were a lot of great presenters, a lot of wonderful information there. And so it was really hard to choose which thing would support me in my business right now. After you spoke, I knew that if I didn't get clear on my message, that nothing else was going to move forward, that I would not be able to impact other people's lives and serve them in the ways that I really wanted to. So the Cash for Clarity program has really helped me to identify the subgroups within my group. At first I thought that I would be working with women who were authentic and thoughtful and who wanted to make a positive difference in the world. And I realized, yes, that is my niche, but I'm ditching that niche and more so going to the idea of looking at the subgroups within that group. And so what I discovered because of your work, and I never would have known this, is that within this group of women, there are women who are at mastery level. Spiritually speaking, they've integrated many of these spiritual principles. There are women who are students, and there are seekers, and there are survivors. These are people who have not had the chance to really look into these spiritual concepts. So by me learning that from you, now when I speak to these different groups, I'm using languaging that makes sense to them. Before, I was using blanket information for people who were at different levels. So that's really how it is impacting me. I already have more clients. My advertising is so much more clear, and I am more grateful than I can say.
Wow, I didn't know you were going to share all that. And I'm so happy because what you're doing is so important, and that's the thing that really strikes me with my work, and my wish is for everybody to feel this with their work, that when you get to do it and it lands for people and they see results, that they're in turn helping that many more people. And So I'm just so delighted to have for you to have such a shift, and you're experienced. You know, you're not new at what you're doing. And
no, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, and I think people sometimes they think, well, I should know this, or I shouldn't need help with this, and so they don't get the help they need with whatever it is they need in their life, because it's asking for help is hard, and especially when we think we should know it all.
Exactly, and you don't know what you don't know, and then once you figure that out, it really does make a huge difference. So thank you for the clarity, and the cash is on its way. I know it. I can.
Awesome. I will end on that beautiful soundbite. Thanks so much, Dawn. It's so great to see you, too.
Thank you. Great to see you.
You're welcome. All right. So I want to do a little bit of review. So you've heard a couple stories. Actually, you've heard 3 stories of multiple ideal client personality disorder. You heard from Deb and how she started out as a health coach, and now she's really realizing she's helping people to not just people that are wanting nutrition, right? But she's helping people that are having a big do-over in their lives. You heard from Kamiko, who has this program or product around angels and intuition, and gosh, it could help everybody, and got to see that she's really going to be focusing on entrepreneurs with sort of that ADD tendency. They don't know how to focus. And then you got to hear from Dawn, who's realizing there's multiple types of women that she's going to be, that there are different levels even within her community, and now she's really going to be able to focus her work that much more. So just a little bit of review. I want to show you again how to begin to diagnose your multiple ideal client personality disorder. Is you want to make sure, you want to know whether the core of your issue is because you have multiple products and programs, or is the core of your issue because you have different groups you want to help? So let me just show you those slides again. So this is if you have different groups you want to help, okay? So think about it. Like, are there different demographic groups that you're trying to help all at the same time? If so, write those all down. Write those all down. That's the first thing that we have people do, is sort of get everything out, get it out on paper, get it out in the open. And then we want you to think about, do you have different products or programs that you're wanting to help people with? And so my slide around that was showing you the three of my different programs, and how each one of those has a different ideal client group. Those of you that are authors, your book, you're not working with people personally. It's more, it perhaps could be more of a general audience, but then if you're going to do a workshop or a course based on your book, you're going to have a different ideal client group, and somebody different who's going to invest $20 in a book versus $1,000 in a course, right? It's very important to get inside their head and differentiate them. So those are the first 2 things that you want to look at when it comes to diagnosing your MICPD. Is it a product thing? That's my confusion, or is it a group thing? And for some people, just looking at their products is an eye-opener. And I want to clarify, your product isn't your certifications, okay? So if you have different modalities that you're certified in, that's not products. So a product would be, I do one-on-one sessions, I do groups, I have a retreat, I sell a nutritional supplements or vitamins, or I have a skincare line, or I have kits for parents and homeschoolers, or I do packages of sessions, like I have a 3-month program, or you do things for organizations. Maybe you have a leadership training for organizations and a communication skills training for organizations. Those are examples of different products or programs. And so you need to pick one from there and need to pick one group. And if you're able to do that, you're on your way to claiming your ideal client. Then there's a whole nother level of work around getting inside that ideal client's head and knowing that it's just not all entrepreneurs with ADD that are wanting an angel intuition program. It's not all of them. It has to be those that really resonate with you. So there's values to look at and how they're similar to you, or not similar to you. What you don't want, huge piece of the ideal client work, what you don't want. And all of that creates this really strong foundation in your house. so that everything that you do, every investment that you make in any strategy, any Facebook ad, any speaking gig, any booth at a meeting, any advertising, anything that you're doing from there is really going to land, and it's going to get you clients. If this part is, if this foundation part, your message part, and not being clear about where you're focusing is at all wonky, right? If you have any, when you really check in, if you're feeling any fuzziness, I'm so glad you're here, because I tell you, it is the biggest blind spot, and it is the most agonizing thing for the mission-driven entrepreneur. It's almost like you feel like you have tape over your mouth, like you can't, like something is holding you back. And I know I felt that at times, and I see that with my clients all the time. So I'm really glad you're here. Awesome. Okay. All right. All right. I'd love to wrap this up soon here, and I have one more guest that I'd like to bring on, and her name is Lori Cantus, and she has a VA company that helps people with websites and teleseminars, and she helps people with a lot of the doing. And I brought her here because I thought she might add some insight into why this message stuff is ground zero, and why multiple ideal client personality disorder is really such a debilitating condition. And also, I brought her on here because she has a depth of knowledge of my work, because she's also been a client. In fact, she was an Inner Circle member for 2 years. She built a 6-figure business with her VA group. And she's also a professor in our 6-figure university program, specifically in the online business tech arena. So she has a lot to contribute, but I really felt called to have her here today to speak to those of you that, again, are looking for a solution outside of you in order to get clarity. So welcome, Miss Lori Cantus.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yes, perfectly.
So I just, I'm a big fan of your work, and I think this is such an important topic because, we work with, when you're whenever anybody, decides to go on the journey of entrepreneurship, it's usually because they're really passionate about something, and it's so important for us passionate entrepreneurs to get your work out there. And I talk to people a lot who are in that spot. They're passionate, they're ready to go on and get their message out and get their work out into the world, but they have no plan, or they have like 15 plans, and they're not exactly sure who they're talking to. And then I get a lot of those people, and they want to talk to us and work with us, and when I do, I got to tell them, you have to go get a business coach. You have to go talk to, Lisa, and get clear on your message, because otherwise you end up spending, a lot of time and a lot of money and going really slowly, and there's a lot of frustration. And so I think it's really important to be clear in who you're talking to as an entrepreneur, and getting clear on your message. And I like the way that you teach people how to do that.
So have you seen people waste money?
Yeah. Waste money. Yeah, a lot. And then they get really frustrated, and I feel bad because but you have to have a good message.
And just to turn it around a little bit, how do you think that this work has impacted your business? How do you think it's helped to contribute to meeting your 6-figure income goal? And because a VA, you could really help any business owner, right? So how did you narrow that down?
Well, we can't help all business owners. No.
Well, you know that
now. Which is not something I came into this knowing. I think it's impacted me so much just because I am at 6 figures, which I never really expected when I first started out. But I was just remembering when I first started my business, I came from corporate America, so when I started my business, I did what I thought I was supposed to do, and I went to I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and I went to these business networking events, and I was trying to get business from all those corporate-y people I had just ran from, right? I left corporate America to get rid of that, and then I was trying to still work with them, and it didn't feel right, and I was always trying to sell my services instead of really be in the service of people. And then when I really got clear on who I wanted to work with, which was other entrepreneurs who are really passionate about growing their businesses, and I didn't want to be like an inexpensive assistant, which is what I had started off thinking that I would do. Then it became fun, and having a, knowing what to say to people and going to the right events to, meet with my people, my type of people, just made my business grow because I was having fun and we were doing the things that we were best at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm going to just stop us there because the leaving it on the idea of that this can make your business feel fun, it just really says it all. We don't have jobs because we're wanting to be sort of in charge of our destiny, and then we wind up creating a job for ourselves. So if getting clarity about where you're supposed to focus and know where you're supposed to spend your time makes it more fun, well, of course that that just makes you want to do more, and that's what it's really all about. So thank you so much for being here, Lori Cantus. I really appreciate you and you taking your time from your 3 boys on a Friday.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, awesome. So we're gonna wrap up here, and I have a quote I want to share with you as we wrap up. And many of you have heard the quote, "Leap and the net will appear." And what always bugged me about that was that it still sounded like there was a cliff there. And so one day this came out of my mouth. Leap and the cliff disappears. Leap and the cliff disappears. And this is what I believe about when we as an entrepreneur are willing to ask for help in any shape or form that takes. When we're willing to ask for help, we jump off the cliff by asking for the help, and sometimes we're investing time that we don't think we have, we're investing money that we don't think we have. We take that action, we make that investment, and we turn around, and the cliff is not even there. It was almost like it was like this big illusion, and only felt that way because we didn't know where to go, we didn't know what to do, we felt confused, and so I realized years ago that once I started making these big leaps and getting help and showing up on these types of educational experiences, when I started taking those actions, all of a sudden there was no cliff. So I would just love to, I want to end on that, the final note of whatever it is for you, whatever that leap is for you, I really promise you with all my heart that when you take that leap, the cliff goes away and you will feel supported because you consciously chose to make sure that you had support. So thank you for showing up here. You took the action to be here. You stayed on. You paid attention. Maybe you even took notes. Maybe you took some action and you got yourself one of those juicy marketing strategy sessions. You click the "I am ready for a cure" button. And you said, you know what, I'm going to make sure I'm one of those first 17, and I'm going to fill this out, and I'm going to qualify so that I can have that conversation. And if that's you, bravo. It really is a wonderful next step to take if any of this is resonating with you. And you'll walk away really knowing what is the next best thing for you to do based on who your ideal client is, what your product or program is, and what you've been doing. We really want to know what you've been doing so that we can help change the course of your business, which we know, if you're on this call, means that you're going to be changing lives. So there's a beautiful ripple effect from this Hangout, and I want to thank you for being here with me. It's been a pleasure. I want to thank all of my guests. So powerful what you shared in your vulnerability, and I look forward to keep in touch with you and continuing this dialogue with you. Bye-bye, everybody.